What's going on, guys? So, guys, let's get right into it. I'm actually going to give you guys the context that even led to me desiring to make this video in the first place. But first, we're going to get right into it. Guys, I'm going to tell you a personal story of me arguing with a woman, okay? I don't share too many personal stories. This one's going to be pretty good. So, picture this, guys. I was younger. I was significantly younger. Keep that in mind. But what I remember is, I was in the car, with my chick, my lady, right? And she was basically playing in my face. And when I say playing in my face, if I were to articulate it more clear, she was being logically dishonest, in my opinion. And what do I mean by logically dishonest? Well, she was acting like, in my personal opinion, like she didn't understand something that I feel like a 5-year-old could understand, let alone a grown adult, right? But she didn't want to concede to reality. And it infuriated me, guys. Truly. Why did it infuriate me? Because this wasn't the first time. And quite frankly, guys, I was just fed up at this point. All right. So this is going to get good, guys. But here we are. We're going back and forth. I'm in the car. And, I'm not going to lie, guys. Like I said, I was younger. But I was really coming out of my body. You know what I mean by that? Like I was coming out of character for sure. All right. So just imagine, guys, we're in a car, confined space, right? And I'm coming out my body. Not that extraneous, but you get my gist, right? And, now, she goes from going back and forth, and now she done somehow spun this thing, and now she's the victim, right? From my perspective, right? Because there's always two sides. I don't really care. But, when I say that, I mean, like she's looking out the window. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a sad music video, right? But looking sad, but still not validating the obvious truth. Okay. So as a man, right, what do we like to do? I'm giving examples, right? I'm trying to get her to understand, right? I'm trying to get her to, to get it, right? To get the picture, to get the logic. But at the same time, like I mentioned, guys, I'm getting frustrated. I'm getting furious, right? So do you guys know like those UPS trucks? You know what I mean? Like they sit up real tall. They have them high seats, right? Cool. So just hold that for a second, okay? So I'm still going off and I'm looking crazy, guys. I'm looking like a damn fool. All right. And for some reason, something just made me look to my left. And I looked to my left. And when I looked to my left, there's a UPS truck. We're at the red light. There's a UPS truck parked beside me. And dude was just looking down at me like this. And I stopped immediately. Like cold. Just like that. And I came to the realization, I was like, wow, I'm really looking crazy out here. And I stopped that instant, guys. And I reflected on that for the rest of the night. And when I reflected on that, I told myself, man, I can't ever let anybody, have me looking crazy like this. I just couldn't believe it. Have you guys ever had a situation like that? Because I actually know a lot of guys personally who have. Now, I told you at the beginning of the video, I was going to give you guys the reason that even sparked me to make this video. I think you guys would be interested to hear that. But first, what's going on, Limitless Legion? Or if you're new to my channel, welcome to the channel. This channel is for the ones who know they're built for more. The ones who don't run from pressure, they grow through it. So with that being said, if you want to join the Limitless Legion, all you got to do is subscribe to the channel and leave a like because it lets the algorithm know we're building something real over here. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the context, right? The reason that sparked this video. So what actually sparked this video wasn't just that story, guys. That story was just something that I thought related. But it was actually the response to another video that I posted recently that's been getting me a lot of traction, right? And I had a lot of support, guys. I had a lot of support, even from women, you know what I'm saying? A lot, actually, mostly, was positive things from women, which I appreciated, but I mean, it doesn't sway me either way. It doesn't sway me if you guys, give me positivity. This is my channel. This is my creativity, and I can do what I want. I can smack, but I'm just joking. But yeah, there was a small group of ladies that felt the need to write me a passage. Not a comment, guys, a scripture, right? And I sat there thinking, I was just like, what's the goal of this? You know what I'm saying? Because if you're writing here in the comment section, right, a 5-paragraph essay, that's not about clarity, guys. That's about control. And I feel like they're trying to bait me into going backwards and forwards with them, right? Going back and forth and trying to just drag me into that emotional loop, right? That I swore I would never get entangled in again, right? But what's the real problem here, guys? Because let's get serious now. The real problem is that a lot of us take the bait. So I want to talk about what my channel is for, right? Let's talk about energy for a second. Let's pause right here. Let's talk about energy. Have you guys ever noticed that while you're over there unraveling, right, throughout this back and forth, melting, right, like the Wicked Witch of the West, that if you actually look over, I think what you'll notice is that she's perking up, right? You're getting drained and she's getting energized from this nonsense. And by the end of it, what you'll find is that you're exhausted and you're trying to resolve it, and she's just heating up, going through the entire emotional spectrum, every emotion, right? Just recharging, right? And in my case, in a lot of people's case that I speak to, they're coming to solve. But it seems like she's coming to win, or better yet, not to lose. What do I mean by coming to not to lose into an argument? Have you guys ever seen a boxing match and one of the fighters just shows up and they're just there for a check? They just trying not to get knocked out. They just trying not to lose. And those fights go on way longer than they're supposed to, right? And as we're watching it, it's draining and it's frustrating to watch. In my example, right, in my situation, the UPS example, that's what I believe. I believe in my situation, in that scenario, she was just trying to survive instead of trying to overcome with me and come to a resolution. But it really doesn't matter, right? Because let's unpack why arguing back and forth never works. Really, with anybody, guys. Here's what I learned since that day, since UPS Gate, okay? When there's emotional dishonesty, logic will never win, right? And if somebody doesn't want to understand, and this can be anybody, there's men as well that just can't see things for what they are, right? And are very emotional. And it doesn't matter how clear, how factual, or how calm you are, right? Guys, this is not a debate. And you don't have to try to maneuver through this emotional maze. Because the more you try to explain, the more tangled up you get. And let's talk about this, guys. Throughout these arguments, somehow you turn into the villain, right? And it doesn't matter what started it, right? It doesn't matter if you're right. Once you start getting loud, once you start getting out of your body, once you start getting emotional, you become a spectacle. You unravel, guys. You look like I did that day in front of the UPS man. Okay? And what I really need you guys to understand, let's bring it back. Guys, you lose leverage every time you seek validation anyway. When you argue with anybody, what you're really doing is you're really just asking to be understood. And what is this saying subconsciously, guys? Subconsciously, this is saying, I need you to agree with me in order for me to feel secure and grounded. And that's a dangerous place to be as a man. Okay? So we have to start recognizing the patterns. All right? Guys, and I know I'm not alone in this. I've had that same conversation, like scenarios like the one I gave you, with multiple friends, right? Over and over. And we swap stories, right? Swap stories. So, you know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is you have to recognize the patterns because their stories were similar to mine. They're like, wait, what? Mine did the same too. She's acting like that too. So at some point, we just have to acknowledge like there's a pattern here. Like there's something going on. Right? At some point, we have to stop blaming her and start realizing that there's a pattern. Right? And we can't complain about this, guys. We just have to accept it. And we have to take ultimate accountability on what we can do about it. All right? That's very important. All right? So understand this, guys. You're not going to win by explaining harder. You're going to win by disengaging smarter. All right? So what should we do instead in these situations? When somebody's trying to pull you into chaos, first, you need to make sure that you hold your composure. What do I mean by holding my composure? Be still, guys, and analyze. If the conversation stops making sense, we stop engaging. Just like that. Right? And this is in any situation. I don't care if you're at the bar. All right? We don't reward illogic with attention. Right? Silence is clarity, guys. Just be still for a minute. And then once you've analyzed, go ahead and just disengage completely and remove yourself. The second thing, guys, we need to stop needing to be chosen. Right? Let them believe whatever they want. Let them spin their own narrative. Okay, guys, the truth does not need to yell in order to be true. It just is. And the man who knows that doesn't chase closure, guys. He just creates peace just like that. And I mean, ultimately, I kind of said it already. Walk away when necessary. There's no shame in walking away. And here's the key. The man who can walk away typically doesn't even have to, but he can. And knowing that will give you all the control, right, that you were trying to argue for. All right? So guys, that moment with the UPS driver, that changed something to me from that day. Because I realized that this isn't about being right, guys. It's about being regulated, right? It's about being grounded, and it's about being a man who doesn't unravel, right? Because of what someone else is doing. All right? So you can't stop other people from playing in your face, being dishonest, right? But you can stop giving away your peace. Because when you give that up, guys, you didn't just lose the argument. You're losing your power. You're losing your clarity. You're losing your presence. All right? Don't argue with chaos, guys. Just exit it. All right? Because understand this. Sometimes, guys, the most masculine thing you can do is nothing at all. So I'll leave you with that. Guys, do me a favor, subscribe if you want to join the Limitless Legion. But the most important thing you can do is like the video, because that helps. And you guys see we're growing, right? And I'm about to start being like how they do on the live. I'm going to start being, y'all get my likes up. If y'all don't get my likes up, I'm going to start smacking. But guys, I'm going to catch you guys in the next video, and I appreciate the support, guys.